Rolling, rolling, rolling. Let's roll, 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 roll. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Lisa with the Hardwood Forest, and I am the artist behind that makes all of these beautiful felt crafts and beautiful felt flowers. And I am so excited to start teaching you all of the wonderful things that I know so that you can start making all of these wonderful things at home. For today's tutorial, we are making this beautiful, gorgeous felt orange wreath with felt blossoms. I've been dreaming this bad boy up for a while, so I'm so happy and thrilled to finally share it with everyone. You can get all of the materials to build this wreath all by yourself at home, and I'm going to show you how and what is included. I sell two different versions of my kits. One is a hand-cut version and one is a pre-cut version. So just in case you don't really feel great about hand cutting out felt, then I've got you covered. It's gonna be easier, everything's done and ready for you, and you can just get your hot glue gun and start assembling. But if you want more of a challenge or more of this just sense of accomplishment that I did this thing 100% from scratch, then go for the hand cut. So I'm gonna go over which is in each kit. Of course, you're gonna get your 12-inch gold hoop ring. That comes in both kits. Your handy dandy instruction manuals. This is just a guide to wire placement in all of your flowers. You're gonna get your freezer paper stencils. So this is going to help you cut out everything that you need to cut out for the wreath. This is for the hand cut. You're gonna get all the felt that you need for the blossoms, for the blossom centers. You've got your leaves, of course your oranges, and your little blossom buds. You're also gonna get all the wire you need to go ahead and create this wreath. So that's what's in the hand-cut version. In the pre-cut version, you're still gonna get all the balls. You're going to get the wire guide, but you're gonna get all the blossoms pre-cut, all the centers pre-cut, and all your leaves pre-cut. So this will definitely save you a whole lot of time. Okay, so you're gonna actually need a few more tools at home that are not included in the kit. And those are gonna be your trusty glue gun. I always use the Surebonder brand because they are amazing. And I use the fine detailed tip. Extra glue sticks. If you're hand cutting especially, you're gonna want one large pair of shears. This is really gonna help cut out those leaves. One small pair of scissors, and this is just gonna help with all your detail cutting. You're gonna want your needle nose pliers that have a wire cutter and an awl. If you have something else, you just need something that's long and pointy and sharp. All of these tools, I'll throw a link down below so that you can purchase anything that you may not have at home already. Also, if you're going to do the hand cut version, you're also gonna need an iron. And that is how we're going to adhere our freezer paper stencils to our felt. Let's go ahead and get ready to start cutting. So the first thing you're gonna grab is your iron, and you're gonna put it on the high cotton setting. Make sure you put the steam off because we do not want steam right now. So for the sake of the video, I just cut out one of these little star shape, and this is gonna be your blossom petal. But you could iron on that whole sheet straight onto your felt, and we're using this parchment color. Same thing for the leaves. If you want to just iron that whole sheet on, that works too. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to just put him right at the corner. I'm gonna get another piece of felt so that we have a heat safe surface to iron on. I just use felt because it works great, but you use whatever you've got available. So I'm gonna line him up. I'm gonna take our iron and just on high and iron him on. So on the freezer paper, there's a shiny side and a matte side. So you're putting the shiny side down, which is actually wax. And what it's doing when we iron is melting the wax, and it's just sticking to all of the felt fibers. And then, I mean, that guy's on there, which is so helpful. I'll grab our big scissors. And then go ahead. And I'm gonna cut out an outline first because I like to work with less scraps. The least amount of scraps makes it just easier to control your scissors and nothing's getting in the way. So for big long lines, I like to use my long scissors so that I'm doing one smooth, even cut going down. And that's the great thing about this freezer paper. It's got these beautiful lines all ready to go, and you can just sit there and follow them. And it just takes a lot of the thinking out when you're cutting. Now I'm cutting one direction right now, but you cut however you feel comfortable. But I just feel like I get nice, good cuts this way. And then now I can flip it and back and go the other way. And get that nice, good corner here. Actually, let me go this way. So you're gonna do this on all your petals and all of your leaves. So for hand cutting, we're gonna hand cut out the centers as well, but those are really, really, really basic shapes, so not a big deal. So now we have that, and just peel away our stencil, and we have our blossom shape. Super, super easy peasy. Okay, so you're gonna wanna cut out a total of 6 of these petals, and then about 30 leaves. I think the stencil has about 32, so you can have extra, and that works too. So now you have all your pieces cut out. Let's go ahead and focus on the wire. So I've got this little handy dandy chart that for reference, and I'm covering up most of it just so you don't get confused. So we're gonna really focus on this. And I've got this other piece of felt down just because you can't really see the wire on my beautiful cutting mat. This design is a little bit more complicated. It's gonna take a little bit more brain power and a little bit of time just setting it up and just setting it up properly. Once you get the hang of it, you could probably wing it, but for now we're gonna take it really, really slow and get this set up. So right now, we're just gonna focus on that large main strip on the bottom. We're gonna disregard that top bit, and as soon as we're done with this bit, we'll go and focus on that. So you're gonna take your wire and we're gonna cut it into a few different lengths. We're gonna start with our 18 gauge wire. So one of your wires you're gonna keep at 16 inches and just don't even touch it, don't even cut it. You're gonna get your second 18 gauge wire and you're gonna cut it straight in half at 8 inches. The 18 gauge wire is thicker than the 22 gauge, which is thinner. So 18 thick, 22 thin. Next, you're gonna get 3 of your 22 gauge wire. We're done with the 18, and we're gonna cut these into 7 inches long. We're gonna do 1 at 4 inches long, and 7 more at 2.5 inches long. So now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna just slowly build this grid on this sheet, and then as we're attaching flowers and leaves, we're gonna just replace it and put it straight back onto this grid so that when it's time to cinch them all down, it's just already in order and it'll make it so much easier on you. So we're gonna start with our long one right in the middle. Then we are gonna take our 4-inch one, and that's gonna go first. And then we have our leaves. These 7-inch ones are for our blossoms. We have more leaves. We're gonna do our 8-inch 18 gauge. And the reason why we're doing that in the middle is to support our oranges, because our oranges are a little bit heavier, so we just want to put lots of the thicker wire on that one just to keep them upright. So this one has a leaf on it, so we're going to put that there. Another leaf underneath it, one more leaf. Now we're going to get another one of our 7-inch ones. And this is also a leaf stem, but it's just a longer leaf stem. You get our 18 gauge is next. We're gonna do another leaf here. Our last long one here that has 2 leaves on the end. Like that. So this is our grid. And now we're slowly gonna be pulling pieces off of our grid, adding the elements to it, and putting it right back onto our grid so that way we can just start wrapping and going all the way down. So one of the first things we're gonna do is we're gonna get our oranges. We're gonna do 2 felt balls on this one stem. So this is where you're gonna grab your pliers. You're gonna make one little notch, and you're just gonna simply go straight around and make a little loop-de-loop. And I'm gonna squeeze this and straighten it up. So this is this little nubbin that's gonna be at the edge of our orange, and that's gonna hold our orange onto the wire. You're gonna take your awl, and then be very, very careful with this, but we are actually gonna stab your ball. So felt balls are made of all these fibers that are very, very tightly wound together. So it naturally has holes and places to go. But we're just gonna stab this all the way through. There it goes. You're gonna have to put a little bit of strength on it. Please be careful when that all pokes through because it is sharp and pointy. So then you're gonna take your wire and just feed it through the hole that you created. Some of these oranges are a little bit more dense than others, but we can just keep feeding it. That doesn't want to go through, so we're gonna poke another hole. And then we're gonna feed our wire through. So right at the top, I'm gonna add a little bit of glue, and that's what's gonna hold our ball in place. And we're just gonna yank it back in right there. It's a little too much, so I'm gonna sweep some away, just like so. We're gonna go ahead and do that again. Grab another ball, fish a hole through it, and feed it through that same wire. If you noticed, I didn't put a loop-de-loop on this one until the ball was on. Now that it's on, now I'm gonna put the loop-de-loop back on. And then again, throw a little bit of glue on here and push our ball up, just like so. So now we have, it almost looks like a little dumbbell. An orange dumbbell. We're just gonna make sure that those are all glued on and not budging. Perfect. So I'm gonna put that aside. So now with our other one, we're gonna do the exact same thing. This one's probably gonna be a little bit slower of a tutorial than I normally do, as there's not a whole lot of places where we can really jump ahead and do repetitive motions because everything's just a little bit different. So I'm gonna put that through. Okay, so now we're gonna build our first orange blossom. So I'm gonna do one here, and then we're gonna cut another one and do another set of two. So you're gonna grab one of your orange blossom petals. If it's the pre-cut version, you're going to have holes already in it. If it's the hand-cut version, you're gonna need to poke a little hole, and you can use your same alt tool for that. We're gonna plop that down through here, and then we're gonna lock up this edge here with material. So you're gonna go ahead and get some of your scrap felt from cutting out these same blossoms. If you have the pre-cut version, there's gonna be a little bit of scrap felt for this exact purpose. But we're gonna cut out about 1/4 of an inch. I have one already cut here. 1/4 of an inch by 1 inch long. So we're gonna cut out that for each blossom. So we're gonna go ahead and then put a little bit of glue, and we're gonna literally just wrap this wire around the felt. So it's just kind of making this little oval cylinder felt. Cinch that closed and shut it. That's it. Then you're gonna grab this little piece of green felt that was also kind of a scrap kit and do the exact same thing. About 1/4 of an inch. And then we're gonna wrap this around as well. I'm leaving this the whole length and trimming it after it's wrapped around, just so that I can line it up perfectly. So we're gonna tuck it. So if you see what I'm doing, it's a little bit lower than the white, but it's, so it's not level with the white, it's a little bit lower. And then I'm gonna just trim this extra here. Just like that. So you have the little center starting. For the next part of the center of the flower, it's gonna be a little bit different for which kit you buy. So the pre-cut version is gonna come with these little center pieces already cut out. These are just such a pain to cut by hand that we're doing it a little bit differently. So in the next flower, I'll show you how to use this piece versus just the strip. So for the strip, we're just gonna go ahead and make very, very tiny, minute cuts and snip them all the way down. And these are like very small pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. And then this is what's gonna wrap around here as well. So there's 3 layers of wrapping. That's why you don't need a whole lot. This is longer than I need, but I'll trim it at the end. All right, so I'm gonna trim this a little bit shorter. I'm gonna put some glue down And go ahead and wrap this around now. Just gonna let it meet right here and then trim this one down as well. So you have this like weird, awkward opening. I'm just gonna throw some more glue and close it up. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue in this hole and just pinch this in. And this is gonna flare out those extra little, I don't know, stamen. Is that what they're called? I'm sure someone will correct me. It's gonna pinch it all down. It's gonna just flare those out a little bit, which is exactly what we want. We're gonna bring up our blossom, put a little bit of glue around and just bring it right up and squeeze it on there. All right, the last step on your blossom is I like to use my pliers. You can use your fingers if you want. I've used a hair straightener before, whatever you want, but we're actually gonna yank on this. We're gonna pull on a petal and lift, turn and lift up. And that's what's actually gonna make it kind of curl in. So felt is fiber, so we're actually like stretching those fibers and kind of manipulating the way it's gonna sit. But it just kind of gives them a lot more character and gives it that like flower opening look, like so. So that's your blossom. Super, super easy, and it's on top of an orange. We're gonna go back to our grid and replace our missing 18 gauge pieces with the pieces that we just made. So this one is going here, and this one is going here. All right, now I'm gonna reveal the rest of it just to show you the guideline of where to go next. For this argument's sake of this one just flopping right here, I think I'm just gonna start with him. So if you look on your guide right here, that's a leaf stem. So I'm gonna take him off, grab 2 of my leaves, my glue gun, put a little bit of glue on the bottom, and go ahead, pinch up until that glue sets. If you get a little bit crazy with the glue and it starts coming out, you can take your handy dandy scissors and just trim off any extra glue. So we're just gonna keep building and keep putting our elements right back onto our grid. All right, we're gonna start at the top now and just started working our way down. So this top piece, the 4-inch piece, is for our buds. We're just gonna use 2 of our white mini felt balls, and we're gonna grab some of our green scrap piece as well to make little squares underneath it, just to make little tiny blossom buds. So we're gonna steal off a little bit on here. We're gonna cut little squares. So we're doing 2 buds on here, so we're gonna get 2 squares. These squares are about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. These are not perfect squares, so don't worry about it if they're a little off. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna cut little notches, almost like little triangles out on each side of the long side. So I'm gonna keep rotating. Cut out a little notch there. And we're basically making a very mini 4-sided leaf here. And that's the shape you're looking for. So you're gonna get 2 of these out. And it's basically like little triangles in the middle. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and poke a hole in between both of them. Okay, so you need your awl. Be sure that you don't drop your awl on the floor And be sure that when you don't drop your awl on the floor, that your very, very hot iron is not sitting next to the drop awl on the floor, and you don't burn the bejesus out of your finger. Of them.
You okay?
Because, I mean, I didn't just do that, and whatever, I did it, and it hurts. It's really bad. Anyways, let's finish making this beautiful orange wreath while I try not to cry while my finger's on fire. But you know, whatever. You do what you gotta do, right? All right, so I'm one finger down, guys, so bear with me. Had to be my good finger too, so now I'm trying to poke a little hole through these. Okay, so poke a little hole through your 2 little 4-leaf tiny little stems. We're gonna get that 4-inch piece and we're gonna fish these through. Gonna take our awl back again, poke a little hole in our white ball felt. White ball felt. Felt ball that is white. Throw some glue down. All right, shove that in there. And they're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I put some white vinegar on my burn, but if anybody has some wonderful burn tips, feel free to comment below, because we love all the tips for when you accidentally burn your tips. Burn tips for when you burn your tips. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and glue some more. I'm gonna pull a little glue down right there on the top of our leaf and go smush and smush that up. Now you have a little blossom bud right here. Isn't that a little cute little bud? He's our little Buddy the Blossom Bud. I'm overcompensating right now, guys, with humor. So I don't think about my dying finger. Sorry, I'm talking about my finger a lot, and you're like, I don't care about your finger. I came here to make a felt ball wreath. So when I tell you to be careful around a hot glue gun, be careful, except for it was the iron. So we have our cute little blossom bud. We're gonna put him on our grid here. Oops, you can't even see the grid on my top down. There he is, right up here, our blossom. Okay, so next we're gonna grab this guy and do some leaves. We're gonna take our 2 leaves and do it. So this is just a super easy, simple way to do this. It would be way too overwhelming to do it, I think, any other way. And this was the easiest way we could think of for teaching this, as far as making your grid and just going straight down the grid. Leaves. All right, so this longer one, this is the 7-inch one, is gonna be more blossoms. So I'm gonna show you, for you pre-cut kit people, using the different centers. The centers that you'll be getting. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get some scraps again. Again, we're gonna use that same, we already made a blossom. We're doing the exact same steps, aside from the fact that we're gonna do 2 on this stem. So we're gonna cut this down to about 1/4 of an inch by an inch. Just put it here, boop. Like that booping action. You gotta boop it when you cut it, or it doesn't count. All right, ta-da! 2 centers, because we're making 2 flowers. Grab another green. Same thing here. Okay, so we're gonna do only one side right now. If you remember how we do everything, you can't lock up both sides or you can't put your flower on it. Then where would you be? You would be blossomless, and then you would be sad. Nobody likes a sad flower maker, which is why I'm putting my happy face on. And then my fingers go back. Okay, keep going. See, I'm still building the exact same thing, so sorry if I'm not overly explaining it again. I guess I could actually put it on camera too. That helps. There you go. Okay, so now this is the exact same thing as the last one we did, but instead we're gonna grab this fancy little piece. It already has a hole in it. We're gonna bring it up, but this time we're gonna put glue on our green piece, just kind of around the base and a little bit underneath. Putting it glue around the base of the green and underneath. Okay, and we're just gonna push those stamens up. I guess I should know more flower terminology before I'm just like, pull the yellow pokey things up. I don't really know a whole lot about real flowers. I know a lot about felt flowers, not so much the real ones. So now, we're gonna do this one a little bit differently because I think it might be easier. Before we put the petals on, we'll stretch it this way. So I'm just holding it and stretching and bending. So another way is to use like a mini little hair straightener, but I'm gonna stay away from hot things right now. All right, we're gonna do that to 2 petals, and this works too. We're gonna go stretchy stretch and pull. Okay, now we're gonna fish one on this way. I'm throwing stuff. And then when you put the other one on, make sure you're putting the frilly side, the frilled up side opposite of this one, because if you did it this way, then it would be upside down. So you want to go that way. But I'm not going to do it yet because I'm going to glue this down first. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of glue underneath the flower. And again, push up so you're just getting good contact. Now we're gonna put this flower on top and make a whole new little center here. I'm doing the exact same thing again. Who knows? Maybe my fancy little editor will speed this up. We shall see. He's in charge. I am not in charge. But just a little curly-Q there. All right, so in case you forgot to put your felt center here, in case you forgot to put this on before you put your top center on, I'm gonna show you how to get around it. Not that I did that, I mean I did this on purpose, just to show you, just in case you forgot, because I didn't forget. Anyways, so all I'm gonna do, because this never happens to me, obviously, if they don't know this clever little workaround. I'm just gonna cut a little slit right in between and slide it on, like so. Just magic. Then, just in case you forget, not a big deal, it can be fixed. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of glue on the bottom and a little bit of glue around. When you do this though, make sure to take your time. Give it a little bit more extra care when you're gluing it on, not to separate it. Just hold it, like so, and then spread them out. Ta-da! And then we're gonna glue this one on, like so. And get, since I can't sit still, I always pull away while everything's setting. I'm just sitting here fussing and pulling off spider webs and whatnot too. So now you have an orange blossom, and we're gonna put that there. So now we've made one of each of the pieces, so you kind of get the idea of how to make the blossom, how to put the orange on, and how to do the leaves. Now we're just repeating everything going down. So this is where this handy grid comes back in. So we've got leaves, buds, blossoms, more leaves, all the way down, and we already have our wires spread out. So now just keep following the pattern. So I've got this, and we're gonna throw another leaf, and then just keep going and fill this all up. Okay, so we're gonna lay this out and start winding. So I've got my base piece here, and then we're gonna follow our chart, and I'm gonna put them up at the top here. Also, this helps to space them out properly. So if you have them all laid out, just makes everything so much easier. Oops, that one's longer. So we've got one leaf here. Here. This is where our long one comes in. I'm actually using the instruction sheet here that I provide to help lay everything out, just so, you know, we don't forget any of the crucial steps and layout. It's a lot to remember. So, okay, this is it all laid out. So we're gonna go ahead and start at the top and just kind of work our way down. So I'm gonna grab our little bud stem here. And how we're gonna wrap these is we're gonna put a lot of pressure right here at the cross and then just wrap around. And we wanna tightly wrap just a few times. So these ones are gonna be a little bit longer, so we don't want it super tight and we want a little bit of flexibility as they're moving. So we're gonna do the exact same thing, grab our next stem and tightly wrap this one around. So this is the beauty of this piece too, is that if you want the leaves really, really tight around this stem, you can keep wrapping. If you want it more looser and more wiggle room, you can leave a little bit of branch left. There's plenty of wire material to do either option. Okay, so now we're gonna take the blossom. So the blossom, I do actually leave a bit of stem on the side just to really give it some flexibility of placement. Try not to overthink this part, because once we put it on the hoop, then we're gonna make all the fine, minute detail movements. I'm gonna grab another leaf, and we're gonna keep wrapping around. Okay, so this one actually has a leaf on the orange stem, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on here first before we wrap it. This one's a little awkward just because the orange is in the way. Wrap that a few times around. And I'm not too worried about making it perfect right now. Okay, so this one's gonna be a little harder to wrap because it's the 18 gauge wire, and it is gonna take a little bit more strength to make it tight, but this one's really important to be tight because you don't want this one flopsy at all. Flopsy at all. Okay, so I'm gonna just lift those together. And we're gonna keep going. This one I'm actually crossing. So if we separate these oranges, I'm actually putting this on in between the two oranges. And it's on my diagram that's where the leaves, that set of leaves is too, but just to clarify, if it looks funky on the diagram, like why is there a leaf there? That's why, and I'm putting it directly in between those. I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna push that out of the way. Okay, so this is another one that has a cross section. So we're gonna take that and do this first before we put it onto our big wire. And then go ahead and put this one on. So this wire is obviously like way too long, and so it's gonna be more wrapping, but I tried to simplify the sizes and cuts so you don't have to have a billion different size wires, and it's just a little bit easier. So it will be a little bit out of the norm of the other ones. Okay, next we're gonna do our orange. So same thing, this one's gonna need a lot of pressure, and I'm not putting it all the way to the edge. There's probably about an inch away from the wire. Same thing here. We're gonna do this. And then on this one too, we're gonna throw wires on this side. Twisty, twisty, twisty. Okay. All right, I'm actually gonna lower this one down and lower this one down because I want to leave a gap in the middle. You're not moving, that's okay. I want to leave a little bit of a gap right here because this is going to be the main section that we're going to wrap around our hoop. So leave just a little bit of a gap here, and I'll note that in the instructions as well. It's about like, I don't know, 2.5 inches right there. I'm going to twist this one on, which is our last one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I twist this onto the hoop. and then we'll go ahead and finish that little tiny bit on the top. So here's our hoop. So this little gap here is the main part that we're gonna twist on. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start tight. And this we're gonna do really tight. We're gonna tightly twist this around this wire as many times as we can just to get a really firm hold on it. So I'm gonna leave these leaves down. Okay, and this is the part where you're gonna kind of like start maneuvering stuff. So now we're gonna bend this and kind of mirror the hoop a little bit. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and wrap this a few times. Kind of anywhere we can add another point of contact around this hoop just to really secure it. Makes it just better. Okay, like so. Okay. Bend this out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this like this. This is not finished. We're not, like, I haven't really messed and fussed with this at all, and it's not as secure as I want it yet. But we're gonna go ahead and make the piece that goes right here, and then we're gonna fuss with it all at the end and do that one time. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing, use our chart, and build that other little fluffy piece on the top. Okay, so I'm gonna use this again, and I'm gonna cover that up so it's not confusing. Okay, so for the little swag on the top, you're gonna need one 8-inch wire. You're gonna need one 7-inch wire and 3 2.5-inch wires and one 4-inch wire. So the pieces that you're gonna make, again, following this guideline, I have them made already, and you're gonna make them the exact same way as you did before. You're gonna have one 8-inch wire with your leaves. Then you're gonna have this cross section here. You're gonna have blossoms, another leaf stem, and your buds. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing with this and twist it all up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do exactly what I did before. I'm gonna put this on the bottom and line them up on top so that we can line them up perfectly when we're twisting them on. So let's get twisting again. I feel like we should sing like a twisting song, or what is it, the twist and shout? I don't know.
It's probably copyrighted.
It is probably copyrighted. That's not fun. Gonna twist. We're gonna make our own sound, the twisting song. I don't know, is that a thing? We pretend like it's a thing. Okay. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. Nope. Following. Okay, so in this one, I'm also gonna leave a gap in the center too, which will be notated on your instruction sheet, because that's gonna be the bulk of what's gonna twist onto your hoop. Okay, so this is your top piece now. I'm gonna shift you up a little. Then we're gonna gather our hoop again and twist this on in the kind of the top corner. I'll just twist you around one more time. I need you in their leaf. Okay. Just feel like twisting you around one more time. There you go. So now it's on there pretty good, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a few of our little scrap pieces of wire. I'm actually gonna cut them to about 1 inch long, and I'm just gonna go in and wrap around in a few spots just to hold it down and just really secure the two pieces together, because we definitely don't want anything falling and wiggling and shaking off. So that would be really sad. I mean, these definitely are these are not really meant to be played with. They're like touched and handled a lot, but at the same time, you definitely want to be able to pack it away when you don't need it and pull it out when you want it, and you definitely want it to keep stayed together. Just gonna secure with these extra little brown wires. It just helps really hold everything on. I don't like gluing anything on just because it makes it look, it's really hard to hide the glue on the wire or on the hoop, and it just looks funky. Okay, so we're gonna lay this down, and now this is the fun part where we're gonna just sit there and fuss and move these wires and really decide what the final look of your hoop's gonna look like. So you can move things in so many different ways. Like this orange is underneath some leaves, so you can just smush it back up. You can put the oranges in whatever direction you want. Like, just really mess around, and don't be scared to move wires. And also, if you do kind of put this up on your wall and you're like, oh, I don't like that, I'm gonna move that. Move it. It's on wires, and you can sit there and mess and fuss all you want until you get the perfect look. So I didn't really like that, so I'm just gonna push that over. All right, so as I keep fussing with this, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get all the updates for all the new future tutorials. Ask me any questions in the comments that you may have, or let me know what you want to see in a future tutorial. All of my shop links are below, as well as where to find the kits and all of the materials and tools that I used today. I have links below as well. I'm so glad you were here, and I can't wait for our next project that we get to do together. And seriously guys, please tag me in all of your posts on all of your finished pieces, because I would love to see what you guys come up with. But this is the orange wreath. I may fuss with it for another few hours, but I am really thrilled with how this turned out. Thanks guys. See you later.